Hello and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. Today I have an update on my progress on my temperature blanket, and I also have a WIP to share with you, and this is going to be the granny square blanket that I started last week. But first I'm going to share with you where I am with my temperature blanket. So it has really grown, so I don't think it's gonna fit on the screen, but I'm gonna try. So that is what it looks like. I don't know if you can see everything, but I'm thinking at least if I drop it like this, then you'll be able to see all the colorways. And it's really big. It's really, really big. So and let me show it across so that you can see all the colors together. So that is starting January all the way to May. So I'm not all the way caught up. I am caught up to May. So I'm yet to start on June. But I am happy with the progress all the same, even though I'm a little behind. But it's also because I am one of those people, which I'm thinking it's most crocheters or most knitters have more than one project going at the same time. So this is not the only thing that I'm working on. I think if I was working on one project, it would really be boring, because sometimes I feel like I want to knit, or sometimes I feel like I want to crochet. And then there are those projects that you can grab and take with you. There are those projects that need a lot of concentration. And I think that is why it's always a good idea to have more than one project going. At least for me. And I know most of my friends that I knit with usually have a bunch of WIPs going on at the same time. So that is where I am with this one. And I'm loving these summer colors. So it started to get warm and then it got hot. And this is in the 60s. It was a little bit colder, and this is the 70s up here. And it's still gonna get hot because the last few weeks, we are in June now, and the temperatures in June are already in the 70s. We haven't hit, like, I think we've hit the 70 over 75, but we've been mostly in the lower 70s. But it's gonna get really, really hot, and it gets really hot in July and in August. And in August, temperatures can go as high as triple digits. I am not looking forward to that, but it's inevitable, and we already know that it's gonna happen. So it's just a matter of preparing for it. And fortunately, that means we're gonna have to have the AC running throughout, and that's not usually good for the bill. It goes really high. But anyway, that's besides the point. So this is the summer. It looks really, really beautiful because these are my colors. Like, I love warm colors. So the reds, the pinks, the hot pinks, those are my colors. But I also like the cooler colors, but I tend to just enjoy these ones more. And so I was looking forward to summer because I wanted to see how the colors are gonna turn out. But I have a little bit of a disappointment because I've had a good time working on this area where the colors, the cooler colors, I didn't have much issue with the yarn. So this yarn has a tendency to split, but it wasn't splitting as much until I got to this colorway here. This colorway splits like crazy. It splits a lot, and then it feels like a decay, even though it's a 4-weight. These ones feel like a 4-weight, but this colorway felt like, it feels like a decay, to where I had to look at it and, you know, scrutinize it and go back on the label and check to make sure that I didn't buy a decay weight. But I have seen that happen before. You might have a yarn base, and all the different colorways in the yarn base will behave differently. I think it's the way the yarn takes the dye. I don't know, but I'm thinking that's why. But this feels really thin. It splits a lot, and I have a ton of rows to work with it. And I'm thinking I'm going to change this color and shorten the area that I was gonna use this colorway. It's called Rich Orchid is the colorway. And so it was gonna go into a large section because initially when I planned this blanket, I was gonna use this colorway for 71 to 79. And that's going to be pretty much June and July, part of July. And I know I was gonna have a few different colorways going in there because I'm sure we're gonna be in the 80s and we're gonna be in the 90s, but this was gonna go for a big chunk of June. As a matter of fact, I think, let me look at June, what I have. Okay, so in June, there's a section that I'm supposed to use it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rows. And I'm not looking forward to that. And so that is why I have decided that I'm going to separate. So I'm going to use it for anything that is from 71 to 75. Or 71, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So 71 to 74, I'm going to use this Rich Orchid. And then from 75 to 79, I'm going to find another colorway that is in the same family and sneak it in there because I don't look forward to knitting about 20 rows of this yarn. It splits a lot and it's kind of slowing me down and I'm not enjoying it. And it feels really thin. Like this colorway here, which is what I'm using to divide my months. So I'm using it at the end of the month or beginning of the month, depending on how you want to look at it. So I'm using it to separate the months. It feels really nice and soft, and all these other colorways actually, they all feel really nice. Even this one, it's called Soft Rose, and it's what's over here. It felt really nice. The only colorway that I have a problem with is this one. And I don't know, it feels really thin, like a decay, even though it's a 4-weight. So I've decided that I'm gonna switch it because I don't look forward to having to deal with the splitting, because you have to flog and then go back and pick up that stitch and all that. It's kind of annoying and it's slowing me down and I'm not enjoying it. So that is what I'm experiencing with this yarn. But the beauty of working on a temperature blanket is that you pick the colors, you assign your temperatures, and then if you encounter a problem, don't be afraid to go back to the drawing board and switch those colors, because the whole point of working on a crochet project or a knitting project, or the whole point of crafting or being a part of this craft, is to enjoy the process and to have fun, and just to have a good time. And if the yarn you're working with is giving you a hard time, then I don't see that as an enjoyable process. And for me, I'm not afraid to go back to the drawing board and pick something else. And that is what I'm going to do. It's very pretty, but I'm not gonna deal with like 10 rows of splitting and feeling like the yarn is thin, and I don't know, I just don't, I just didn't enjoy working with this colorway. So that is a lesson learned, and I know that there are other people on here who are working on a temperature blanket. So leave a comment down below and let us know if you are on target. Are you keeping up with it? Are you behind? Are you ahead? Where are you at? Is your yarn giving you a hard time, or are you happy with the choice that you made? So just leave a comment and let us know how you're doing, and that will be encouraging to somebody who may be having a hard time working on their blanket, or who may be experiencing the same problem that I was experiencing with that yarn. And if your yarn is giving you a hard time, don't be afraid to switch it, because you want to be able to finish the blanket. And I'm thinking I've invested 5 months on it. There is no way I'm giving up in the middle. Plus, I want to see how the whole, I want to see how it's gonna look, because I'm already planning to make another one next year. So that is what I have on the temperature blanket. And I'm going to give another update at the end of summer. It depends on, I could give an update in the middle of summer, but that depends on where I'm at and what else is going on. But I would definitely try to give an update at the end of summer, or maybe in the middle of August, because that will be like 8 months of the temperature blanket. It will be quite large, and I think I want to see how this summer section is going to turn out, and it will be a good time to show what it looks like. So stay tuned, and just leave a comment and let us know how your progress is and how you're doing if you're working on one of these. The second WIP that I want to share with you, or to show you an update, is my solid granny square blanket that I am making for my grandbaby. And I have a pile of granny squares, and I am saving them on this pegboard that I got from Amazon. See, the pile looks like that. And that's the pegboard. It has holes, and it comes with these silver thingies. I think it's supposed to be for blocking your granny squares or showcasing your granny squares. I think you can use it in whichever way you like. But right now I'm using it to save my granny squares, or to put them in a nice, cute pile that I have displayed. And it's kind of helping me to stay focused, because I can see how much progress I have made. Look at all this. I currently have managed to crochet 23 solid granny squares, and I have, this is my 24th. And I talked a little bit about this blanket in my previous video, but when I wanted to make this granny square blanket for my grandbaby, or a blanket, she requested lavender. And is this lavender or is this purple? There's so many shades of purple, sometimes I'm not sure which I'm looking at. But anyway, I wanted to make a solid granny square blanket, because I wanted to use this opportunity to learn how to do a solid granny square. And again, this year, I'm just diving into my stash and using what I already have. And I had this yarn in my stash, and I showed her. So when she said lavender, I was like, oh, I don't think I have lavender in my stash. But I had this yarn that I had bought a while back, maybe early last year. And I got it from Hobby Online. It's an online store. I think it's based off I think it's in Denmark, but it's online, but it's very efficient. I've bought, maybe I've shopped there 3 times, but every time the yarn comes to me pretty quickly. They have a good variety, but mostly I was shopping there because I was curious to see the different things they carried. And I think this was on sale when I bought it. And so this is just a regular classic acrylic yarn. It's called We Love Yarn. And the ball comes in 191 yards, and I bought a packet of 5. And so when she said she liked this color, which looks really, it's such a beautiful color. It's like a nice shade of purple. I thought that 5 balls of yarn were not going to be enough because I think crochet uses up more yarn than knitting. I could be wrong, but I think it does because of all those yarn overs you have to do versus when you're knitting, you just knit. But anyway, I thought that I wasn't going to have enough of this. And so what I decided to do was add some other shades of purple. And I looked through my stash, and I had I had this, I think this is what, maybe this is lavender. I had this yarn already, and this is a Hobby Lobby. I love this yarn. So I had this one. And this is very similar to this yarn. The texture is the same, the feel, the thickness. And this is a 4-weight, this is a 4-weight, but not all 4-weights are the same. But these two really work well together, and they are similar in texture, and they are producing the same fabric, the same size. It looks exactly same dimensions because I'm doing 5 rounds, and these ended up being the same size. So I know that they work well together. But I had, this is Caron Simply Soft. So I discovered that I don't have a lot of purple in my stash, and I'm discovering that I don't have certain colors in my stash, but this is Caron Simply Soft, and I thought I was gonna be able to use this, but Caron Simply Soft tends to be a little bit thinner it's thinner than this, even though it's a 4-weight, and it's thinner than this a little bit. So these are 5 rounds, and these are 5 rounds, and these are 5 rounds. So you can see the difference. So there was no way I was gonna use this Caron Simply Soft unless I did 6 rounds, but also the fabric feels really different. It's soft and it's more flowy compared to this. So I knew that if I do mix these two, it wasn't gonna work. So it was back the drawing board. And so I went to Hobby Lobby and I got another purple one. And I know that the camera is trying to showcase it as a blue, but it's really not a blue. It's a nice deep shade of purple, and it's called Grape. And so I'm using these 3 colors in this blanket. So this is what I'm going to have, but I'll have majority of my granny squares are going to be in this color. And then I'm using these 2 as accents, and I'm going to use these on the border as well. And I think I'll use these on the last row of the border. So I'm not going to make a lot of granny squares in this color so that I can have enough left to do the outward or the outermost row of the border. And I don't know how I'm going to do the border, but I'll figure that out as I go along. But I'm loving the progress that I have made so far. And I think now I have enough yarn. So I think 5 of these and 2 of these Hobby Lobby I Love This yarn are going to be enough to make this blanket. So I have made such good progress, and I am happy with the way it's going, and I've memorized this pattern, and so I'm not looking, and I'm going really fast. The only thing that I need to try now is keep the granny square flat And so I'm going to try that method that I saw on TL Yarn Craft's website or video. It's not a website, it's on the video that she was showing. It was Tony, the YouTuber behind that channel, and she has really good tutorials. And she was showing how to do a granny square so that it stays flat. And she was talking about going one way clockwise and then going the other row the other way. And I think I'll try that in the next granny square that I'm going to be working on and see if it's gonna work. But I know that blocking will make this lay flat, so I'm really not worried about it, but I'm gonna give that a try for future reference, because I think that for me, I feel like one side of the granny square looks more beautiful than the other one. Like this is the outside and it looks better than this side, which is the inside. So I don't know what going round and going the other way is gonna turn into, but I'm gonna give it a try so that I know for sure if I wanna do that. But that is all my granny squares, and I think I should be done with this blanket over the weekend, and then I'll join the granny squares together and work on the border, and I can't wait to see how it's gonna turn out. But I'm not gonna make a lot of these squares, but because they're just gonna be the accent to break the monotony, because I didn't want it to be just this one color. And I'm hoping that my grandbaby will be pleased with the product, or will be pleased with the final product, and she'll love it, even though it's gonna be in different shades of purple, which I'm thinking it's going to be okay, because these three, they complement each other and they look good together. So I'm not worried about it. I think it's gonna work out perfectly. So I'll go and keep on working on this, and then I'll update you once I'm done with this blanket, and I'll show you what it looks like. It looks like at the end. So that is all I had for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and leave a comment below and let me know what you're working on. Are you knitting? Are you crocheting? Are you working on a regular blanket? Are you working on a granny square blanket? Let me know in the comments down below. I love your comments and I read each one of them. So until next time, happy knitting and happy crocheting.